horse-riding young men of Marawo community, Weldon Spurs, received Major General Nicolas Sinyina to his ancestral home in Demsa local government area of Admiral State in a heroic welcome. The event is the official handing over ceremony of blocks of classrooms, textbooks and school uniforms by the Nigerian Army. The people roll out their drums to display their dancing steps in celebration of the event. The facilitator of the project speaks on the essence, just as the senator representing Adamawa South emphasizes the importance of education to the society.
The Chief of Army Staff Special Intervention Civil Military Cooperation Project, which we are here for, is an initiative of the Nigerian Army to bridge the gaps between various communities across the country and the Nigerian Army.
I want to commend the Nigerian Army, for this initiative they have taken to bring development to areas that would not have seen this kind of thing.
The representative of the Chief of Army Staff calls on the community to properly utilize the facility, while some beneficiaries applaud the military and the facilitator for the intervention.
Please ask the member of Marawo community to make the great use of this project, and the second one to also urge them to maintain it.
Major General Sinyina Nicodemus has taken monumental strides in education to ensure no Marawo child is left behind.
This project is going to create a great impact not only in Marawo community, but the larger Mbula community as a whole.
After the speeches, the project is commissioned as dignitaries inspect the facility. The event climaxes with the presentation of souvenirs to individuals for their contributions to the community.
Well, that's an example of civil-military relations, and that is as exemplified by the Nigerian Army. But we do have in our studios this morning Rear Admiral Olusoya Bankole, who is the Chief of Defense Civil-Military Relations at the Defense Headquarters. They supervise what all the other three arms do. That's the Army, the Navy and the Air Force. So I believe they also have theirs as well. And then we also have, sitting right beside him, is Navy Captain Anying Abuse, who is the Director Gender at Defense Headquarters. Officers, thank you so much for coming on the program this morning.
Malco, I want to say a big thank you to you and Kelia for inviting us. And I also want to, on behalf of my principal, the Chief of Defense Staff, commend the patriotic duties you guys do in nation building by disseminating the right information. I need to pass that message. It's a patriotic duty, and I want to salute what you guys are doing.
Well, we salute you right back. We wish that, all of our talk around, civil-military relations will be as pleasant as what we normally experience in the studios. But sadly, I'm sure it's the reason why the military itself had to come up with a department to simply look at civil-military relations, because we've seen over the years areas of conflict, area where it seems that the Nigerian people, or is it the Nigerian military, do not exactly regard the people that they are meant to serve. We see examples of that, and only very recently we saw an example that left a lot of people shocked, because we thought we had since left those kinds of things behind us, which was the raid that happened at the IKEDC headquarters, Ikeja Disco, where some military personnel were reported to have gone to the IKEDC headquarters and, shot some people in, shot the workers in, asked some of them to kneel down, all manner of things. And people were wondering, what is going on? you know, at what age, you know, is this still happening in our country? So it does appear that we still have areas of conflict in spite of the establishment of these departments. What can you tell us about, you know, education of military personnel and also relationship with civilian personnel in terms of, you know, how you're trying to smoothen things out?
Okay, Marco, let me start. First of all, the military is an integral part of the society.
It is indeed.
Our recruitments are from the society. And after our retirement, we go back to our homes, the society. So it will be a fault to say, okay, the military, we could not distance ourselves because our trainings from the society, it is taxpayers' money that pay our salaries. So the Chief of Defense Staff, on assumption of office, General C.J. Musa, made it clear, even in his command philosophy, that it was going to be human-centric in all his approach. It was people-centric. And he considered human security, that is the security of the man, the security of the female, the security of everybody, because it's the society we are protecting. Having said that, the military has zero tolerance for any kind of indiscipline. What you mentioned that happened in Ikeja district, whatever, is being viewed seriously at the defense headquarters and the HQ headquarters of the Nigerian Air Force. Whatever sanctions needs to be meted, we will mete out. But there is no tolerance for that kind of indiscipline. But the underlying issues between the Air Force and the IKDC are being tackled at that. But I want to emphasize what the the Chief of Defense Staff always emphasizes. It is the people that is key. It is the people that we should protect. That is why we swore an oath to protect the people. And that is also why there's been a lot of sensitizations across the spheres, across all the theaters, to sensitize officers and men on the need to protect civilians and also protect civilian infrastructure. So whatever happened, and you know, when you have a narrative of so many years, it takes time to erase. Yes, the CDS has done well because from the beginning, he has been engaging, even from the strategic level, he's always communicating with the political leadership, communicating with the media on his policies, which is people-centric, to protect lives and property of the people.
Can I ask you then, as a senior officer watching that, seeing that video on social media, and perhaps also seeing it on TV, what came to your mind?
Just as I said, the military has zero tolerance for that. There might be underlying issues which is being addressed by the HQNAF, and I can tell you it is being seriously addressed. From HQNAF, right from the Chief of Air Staff is on top of it, because the CDS wants a report on this. Because this is probably, because of the work the Defense Headquarters and CDS and all the services are doing, those kind of narratives are not what we want to see right now. So there might be underlying factors.
Those officers have been identified?
Yeah, it's been tackled by the HQNAF, and I can assure you it's been tackled because there's no tolerance for any kind of listen. But at the same time, while I will not want to, you say, we need to, we won't condone indiscipline, but also we need to also respect ourselves as organizations. Any structure that is a Nigerian organization needs to be addressed, respected. So I'm not saying what they did is what we saw on TV. Well, that was just what we saw on TV, but there might have been some underlining things about them probably switching them off for 2 weeks and they not having audience today. But that does not mean that what was shown on TV is the attitude of the military. Because right now, the CDS has even set up a sensitization team. We just left Ikorodu last week, sensitizing people on what the military is to do for them, to protect them. We are part of them. We need the people to survive. We need the intelligence from the people to survive, because no matter what level of technology you have, you won't be able to see a 10-year-old girl in the night, maybe they've strapped a bomb on her due to innocence, she doesn't know anything. No matter, the technology may not even be able to detect it, you know. So we need the intelligence of the society.
You know, the burden on the military, and not just the army or the defense, even the police, even with NSCDC, there's a higher burden on men on uniform.
Yeah.
And I know this because I'm a military kid. There's a higher burden on people in uniform to conduct themselves in a manner where they can be trusted by the people in society. So having that at the back of your head as someone in the military, it does seem pretty disappointing sometimes when we see these sorts of situations. My question has to do with the amount of training and knowledge that men in uniform today, because back in the day it didn't feel that way. It does feel like a lot more is happening right now, but many people have said it's just that there's social media now, so a lot more things are coming out. How much information and training do men in uniform know about that higher burden of courage they should have, knowing that people should be able to feel safe when they see people in uniform, as opposed to being scared when they see people in uniform?
Kela, you should not feel scared when they see people in uniform. The people in uniform are meant to protect you. That sensitization, even from the depot in Zaria to NDA to NDC, is there. The military career is a noble career. The military career shapes people that produces leaders. The military career is to help people, to help the society. Apart from the protecting the territorial integrity of the society, we are protecting humans. And that is why I'm happy that this Civil Military Relations Department across the services, and we are doing a lot of things that, apart from sensitization, we are trying to impact the people directly so that they will feel the impact of the military. We do issues of medical rhapsody, the army built bridges. Even recently, the Air Force had to fly a set of conjoined twins in Yola for a surgery and brought them back safely. We are trying as much as possible to let people know that we are part of them. We are not against them. So some of these things, yes, there might be some gaps, some shortfalls, but with this trajectory, we're getting there. And I want to assure you that with the trajectory the CDS has set now, the military will earn its respect from the populace. We are not going to beg for that respect. With time, the military will earn the respect of the populace.
I want to be able to talk to Madam Abusi.
Yeah.
You know, about
yes, Navy Captain.
Navy Captain.
Yeah.
I want to be able to talk about women, because your unit is one that we're still trying to get used to, you know, but it's one that has been called for a very long time. Talk to us a little bit about the work that you're doing and some of the things that you're noticing on ground and tackling in your office.
Yeah, thank you very much. Yes, the gender department set up by the Defense Headquarters has come up due to the gender awareness and responsiveness, you know, that is ongoing. And right now, even in the gender departments, the deployment that is being done is, you know, intentional. Having civil military relations too at the back of our minds. For example, before now, when you go to places like checkpoints, you hardly find a woman. But now, it's intentional. You see females there. Why are they there? Because female passengers may need to be searched, may need to be detained for a while, so that they are now in the custody of a female. And this is also coming up from the zero tolerance of sexual abuse and harassment. Because when you have women on ground, those issues are somehow tackled. And even in the IDP camps, you see females now, female personnel. Why are they there? Because we have women and we have children there. So there should be women presence there. Because the women too would feel more comfortable confiding with a female personnel than a male personnel for issues that concern women.
You don't think that they don't think that the women in the military are tougher than the men?
Well, but when it comes to issues that are sensitive, that have to do with sensitivity, the woman in you would come out. You know, we may just look tough, but when you see another woman in, you know, a situation that is gender related, of course, the woman in you would come out and you would pay attention.
So your desk, does it also serve, you know, I hear you when you say it serves, you know, gender on the outside. Does it also serve gender on the inside?
Very much.
How so?
Gender on the inside. You know, we do advocacy to the higher authority, you know, trying to ensure that we have more women, you know, and so far there's response. We have, like the NDA, before now, we don't have women combatants. Right now, we have women. So that means that the sky is actually the starting point.
Yes, I do know that, and I know that that has not been without controversy. I do know that even till today, there's still divisions among amongst officers and men as to whether or not that was a very good decision. But only recently, I was privileged to listen to a retired officer who gave the very senior officer, I might add, who gave a testimony about how he was flown by a female officer, and he was one of those who had vehemently kicked against women being admitted into the NDA, and he made that confession that perhaps that was, a mistake, and with benefit of hindsight. But even at that, there are still challenges. For instance, female officers, they will get married, they will get pregnant, they'll have children, and all of that sometimes doesn't exactly go with the military calling. So how do you manage that? How do you, let's say, merge the two with understanding? Are there some of the issues that have come to you?
Yes. Let's talk about the childbearing aspect. To show you that the armed forces is gender responsive. Even right now, the men to go on paternity leave. So it's not just
how long do they go for?
1 month.
1 month.
Leave.
Yeah.
Oh, the men go on 1 month
paternity leave. So it's not so.
And the women have how long?
6 weeks.
6 weeks?
Yes.
That's 6 weeks prior and...
Yes, before and after.
Okay.
So that's a total of 12 weeks.
Okay. Before and
6 weeks
after.
prior, 6 weeks...
Because
the men, 4 weeks.
We all gasped.
And I need to reiterate that in the last 3 years, women have shown a lot of resilience in the armed forces. In training, in fact, now we now warn our boys that all these women are just... The women are doing very well in training. I think it's a trait in womanhood. And then we have the pilots. Also, we have the Navy just appointed a female commanding officer about 2 weeks ago. That means they're doing very well in training. Yes, there are gaps. There are
so is the sentiment then beginning to change, however gradually? Because there are those who still say, look, these people have watered down our training. They are making our boys look at women before they should be looking at women. There are still those who hold this sentiment. So is it really shifting the post? Are there strides shifting the post?
Warfare has evolved now from mostly physical to issue of emotional intelligence
and
mental and technology. And the woman's IQ sometimes could be, you understand? So the women are actually breaking barriers in the military. A lot of women are doing well. And the issues of the time, work-life balance, with time we will get there. We have to run the homes, but the women are really proving themselves in the military. So it wasn't, therefore in the military, it wasn't a mistake. And the military is also trying to mitigate arms that could get to them. That's why most times they don't send them to the front lines, you understand? But they do, just like she said, the issues of checks and checkpoints and co. But I think they're doing very well in the military.
Yeah, so for those who are listening to this conversation today, and I must also add that, I do know that the agitation is also on in other quarters. A number of state governments are beginning to improve their maternity leave. I think Lagos State is doing 6 months. The federal government is looking at doing more for women. I hope that the military will take a cue from the federal government when it eventually does, extend the time. Because indeed, 3 months is quite short. 6 weeks with a baby. I'm hoping that...
we are an arm of the federal government. Whatever policy directive we take...
The federal government, I see. Okay, so for those who are watching this conversation and still saying, look, I'm still not very comfortable with military presence in civilian spheres, what will you say to them? What do you think you can say to them to reassure them that you mean the best for them?
Okay, the military means the best for civilians. Unfortunately, because we now have to operate, since the insurgency started about 14 years ago, we have to operate in largely populated civilian environment. So we need to show presence there. We need to engage with the civilians because the civilians are actually our source of intelligence. All true. So the military is there to, and that is why also the CDS has mandated that we do quick impact projects across the services. When you see a military person providing the bowl, providing education, all those things, so that is a kind of assurance to win the hearts and minds of the populace. So that is what we are doing across the board to make sure, let them know that the military is part of them. And I will also reiterate, the military was recruited from the civilian population. So we are part of you. We are just molded to fight, and after the fighting, we go back to the civil population. So it's not...
Indeed. Navy Captain Abuse, I want to hear your last words on, what we can expect from the gender desk of the Defense Headquarters.
Well, I will say that it would keep getting better. Yeah.
Oh, well, we hope that it only does get better. We have to thank you both for coming on the program this morning. We've been speaking with Rear Admiral Olusonya Bankole, who is the Chief of Defense Civil Military Relations at the Defense Headquarters, and also Navy Captain Ayin Abuse, who is the Director, Gender at the Defense Headquarters.
It's a pleasure.
Officers, thank you so much for coming on the program this morning.